Welcome to tonight's edition of Breeding to Win, and tonight's show we're focusing on a couple of guests here and obviously some big happenings around the corner here in the Western Cape, starting off with the Matcham Race Day, and that's sponsored by Cuda. We look forward to catching up with Vian Smith and Gwen McGregor. They're going to be telling us a little bit about the Matcham Stakes Race Day, as well as a couple of products launched by Cuda, including their game division and also their personal line. So we look forward to that coming up in the show as well. Next up after that, we'll be catching up with one of the senior commentators from the Western Cape. That's Ravon Smith. Now, he's had a very good career in the racing game. He's also been a DJ at a host of radio stations, and we look forward to just finding out how long he's been at it and what it takes to be a commentator here on the Western Cape front. So that's the show for today. We'll also be bringing you some news from Gavel House and also touching on some of the other initiatives and news in the industry coming up. But that's it for now. We'll be back straight after this with our guests.
New Turf Carriers is a family-run business owned by Mark and Dory Sham and their three sons, Michael, Matthew and Marcus. New Turf Carriers has been in long-distance transport since 1995 and pride themselves in excellent service, punctuality and loyalty to their clients. Every single stud farm and every single sale to every single racecourse, New Turf Carriers pride themselves in delivering your horse safely. The welfare of your horse is paramount, and it is to this end that we have our own midway stop between Johannesburg and Cape Town. This is situated at Colesberg, where we have a stabling facility for 60 horses, so that the horses on long trips can get off and have a rest during their journey. The bottom line is, New Turf Carriers take your horse from door to door with pride, passion and punctuality.
Well, as promised, great to catch up with Vian Smith from Cuda Insurance. Vian, great to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us. Matcham Stakes, well, everyone knows that Cuda's been involved for now. I think this is the third year coming up, and it's grown from strength to strength, hasn't it?
It's really exciting this year to team up with CTS and Landsrack and do a combined day and combine it with the ready-to-run sales, the Cape ready-to-run sales. And yeah, we're really looking forward to it. Only a couple of weeks away now.
Fantastic stuff. Obviously, it's a great day because it's grown in stature over the last couple of years since Cuda's involvement. And you've mentioned now a couple of partnerships. Obviously, Landsrack sponsoring the Diana Stakes.
Yes, Landsrack sponsoring the Diana Stakes, and they're of course involved with the ready-to-run sales and the ready-to-run race to be held later in the year. And Cape Thoroughbred Sales running the sale on the same weekend. So I think the aim was, when we got together, we thought, the Matcham Stakes has been a real success over the last 2 years. And we love having it at Durbanville Racecourse. It's a real country feel, and it's the beginning of springtime in the Cape, and hopefully we'll have some good weather again this year. And of course the Matcham Stakes and the Diana Stakes being the first group races of the new season, it's an exciting time for all, and to combine that with a ready-to-run sale just seemed to make sense for all the partners.
We've had a couple of other initiatives, and obviously the Jockeys Race. Now that's a charity race that's actually going to be raising funds. Tell us a bit about that.
Yes, we haven't. I think I pretty much have only seen what's in the press about that, but I know the jockeys are going to be running on the day. Each of the jockeys.
Have you sponsored a jockey?
Yes, we sponsored a jockey. We sponsor Grant van die Kerk, as you know. So Grant's going to be running in the Cuda colours, and I know quite a bit of money is going to be raised for charity, and everyone will have a good laugh. Let's hope we can fit it all in before the Boks and the All Blacks kick off at Ellis Park.
You guys obviously going to have quite a lot of other entertainment lined up on the day. Take us through how the program of events lines up.
We're starting a little earlier to try and get the races done by 5 o'clock. We've invited our clients, which include our racehorse insurance clients, as well as our sport horse insurance and foreign exchange clients, and now also our new business, our game insurance business, will also have some representatives on that side on the day. And our clients will be entertained for the day. We'll put on a lunch and watch the races, and then after races we'll be showing the rugby on big screens. And then we're going to try a new initiative, and that CTS are going to be selling the first few lots of the ready-to-run sale on that same evening. So that's going to be quite good fun, and yeah, looking forward to see how that all pans out.
Well, tell us a bit about Cuda. Obviously, things going forward and progressing there, and you've got a few aspects to the business. How are things going generally?
It's going well. We've been going for 5 years now, so time's flown by. I can't complain. There's still lots of hard work to be done and lots of scope for growth and product innovation. And I think we've stuck to our promise of delivering great service and being innovative and finding solutions. And that's really the basis on which we've built our business, and we've grown in the last 5 years. In terms of our structure, we've got individuals looking after all the different businesses now. Gwen McGregor looks after the racehorse business. Dawn Newman looks after our sport horse business. And then we've got our foreign exchange business running out of a Pretoria office with Gert Pinaar and Tony Nell running that side of things. And our game insurance business, although we've only been going for a year, that's already, it's being run by Tupi's Fourie that sits in our Cape Town office, and Gert Pinaar in our Pretoria office, and Willem Smith in our Pretoria office. And things are going well. Then also our personal lines offering, so just personal insurance and commercial insurance. It's always been something that we've offered as an aside, just kind of when we were asked for it. But this year we also decided to make that a real focus, and we've made an appointment. Jason Poltney just recently joined us, and we're really looking to build that business over the next few years. We've built good relationships in the different niche insurance markets, and we just believe there's no reason why we can't offer that same service and same innovation for personal and commercial insurance. And we all have cars and houses, and most of us have businesses, etc., to insure, and we really would like to leverage our relationships and offer excellent products in that space.
How competitive are you in that market?
We're very competitive. We've got access to the entire market in terms of insurance companies. As you know, our racehorse and our sport horse and our game products are all underwritten by Infinity Insurance, and we also have a facility with Infinity Insurance which gives us excellent flexibility and excellent rates and with the security that comes with being an A-rated insurance company. And our products are very good and priced very well. But again, I think it's the innovation and service backing that up that differentiates us from the rest of the market. Now,
obviously, the game business is one of the areas that's been growing quite considerably with Cuda, and obviously that's a big market for you.
Yes, it is. We've always wanted to diversify the brand, and we specialize in niche insurance markets, and game insurance is certainly another niche insurance market with a lot of similarities to the bloodstock insurance market. And it's a big industry, really is a big industry. So we've been in that market for just over a year now, and we're very happy with the progress, and we're excited about that part of the business. The horse insurance business is still our primary business, and where the majority of our focus is, but the game insurance business is fast catching up.
Do you think at any stage there might be a bit of a marriage between owners and people that buy game and obviously racehorses as well? Is that an initiative that you guys are looking at?
I think so. I hope so. It's very different markets. We've certainly invited quite a few of our game clients to the Matchroom Stakes Day, so let's hope they put their hands up and buy some horses on that evening. But yeah, I certainly hope so, and there's no reason why not to. And it's just another way of us marketing the sport of racing outside of the current people involved in the industry.
Okay, then you actually mentioned, and you went through some of your team members. Every insurance company around the world seems to have a pretty face behind the scenes, and you've obviously got Gwen, and we'll be catching up with her a little bit later. But firstly, thanks very much for joining us on the show, and we certainly hope you have a really good Matchroom Stakes as well.
Yeah, thanks very much. We're really looking forward to it.
We'll be catching up with Gwen McGregor, who's also part of the Cuda team, right after this break.
Emerald Cup, Africa's richest horse race on sand. The 27th of September features Lone Hill Estate, Daniel Barron, Matthew Mole, Loy Chele, DJ Van Dazel, and super entertainment for the whole family. Great picnic site packages, hospitality, accommodation. The choice is yours. Call 011 681 1702 and don't miss out on the greatest horse race on sand.
second or no. So number 14, All Is Secret, is victorious. Well Witcher.
And for the lads won it.
Shay takes the lead. Shay wins the Elgos.
We believe in excellence. We believe that if you're going to do something, you do it to your best ability. We aim to make Balmoral #1 in the Southern Hemisphere, not just South Africa.
Well, as promised, now this is the pretty face behind Cuda Insurance, and we see her at all the big sales. Gwen, great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Grant. You've been trying to get me on TV for a
Many-
long time.
many years.
This is your moment.
Tell us a bit about your role and what you do for Cuda.
Grant, I obviously head up the racehorse side of things and take care of that. Nationally, Joburg, Cape Town, Durban. A lot of clients to look after, and we've grown the book tremendously since I started, and loving every minute of it.
And I'll say, you always seem to enjoy it. You've always got a smile on your face, and I think the guys at the sales actually quite enjoy you walking up to them and saying, would you like to tick the Cuda box?
Well, I'm not so sure they enjoy that, but I do. I enjoy the sales. It's always a great time to catch up with your clients who you never really get to see during the year. Yeah, and obviously everyone's together there and we all have a good time and do some business while we're there.
Well, I think obviously you've been around in terms of the racing industry, because you also spent a lot of quality time working for the RA.
That has really helped me in this business, obviously, to get to know the racehorse clients. The RA, I guess, is what helped me build the business, getting to know the Joburg clients especially, and that has really helped a lot.
Right now, are you also actively involved in the marketing, like Matcham Stakes Day? Are you behind the scenes there and getting things ready?
Yes, I am. Marketing, I love the marketing side of things, and it's become very busy with the game guys as well. So marketing has become a big role at Cuda as well for me.
Matcham Stakes Days, in terms of the guests that you're inviting, are they basically the guys that are insuring through you guys?
Yes, they are. It's a day we like to invite our clients and give back a little, and just enjoy socially as well with them, and not always make it about business. So that's a great day to do that.
Rumour has it that you're entering the jockeys race.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard of that yet, Grant.
I'm not sure how your sprinting ability is, but I'm sure you might have a few jockeys behind you.
No, not me.
Going forward, what's the most exciting aspect for you with Cuda?
Just taking the racehorse to a new level, and just getting out there more and seeing more clients, and just building as much as we possibly can. Fantastic
stuff. As promised, Gwen is always around if you're looking to get your horses insured, if you're looking to maybe get involved in some other aspects of the insurance business as well. But we're going to be back shortly after this next break, and we're going to be chatting to a very familiar voice in the Western Cape, none other than Ravon Schmidt. Well, as promised, our next guest is Ravon Smith. Now, you hear his voice plenty of times when you're going or listening to the races here in the Western Cape. He's been a commentator for many years. We're going to find out a little bit more about that. We're also going to be finding out a little bit about his horse ownership role, and in terms of maybe even getting him involved in forming a few syndicates. Ravon, great to have you on the show. Let's go all the way back. How did you first get involved in horse racing?
It started in the late 80s, to be very honest with you. In fact, the mid 80s, to be very honest. In my matric year at school, which was 1985, up to that point, I'd been working in a bookstore as a part-timer. And what had happened was John Claassen, the late John Claassen, actually opened the first electronically run agency in Mitchell's Plain. And as a result of having been with him all these years, and of course reaching 18 years of age, I then got asked, don't you want to come and work part-time on a weekend in the tote? And that is probably where everything sort of snowballed from.
Yeah, all right, you've been a punter then for a long time, because when you actually were working there, were you having a couple of little bets and getting involved in bets?
Not at all. My late grandfather was an ardent follower of races. I mean, I grew up hearing races being run on the radio every Saturday afternoon, watching it on TV. When we went shopping at Kenilworth Centre, he'd stand on the deck watching the races from up there. And I guess that's probably where the bug bit. And from that point onwards, I always showed a bit of interest. Couldn't bet, but you know, from the pocket money, here's 10 Rand, have this on the Met, or have that on the July. Or, and I think from that point onwards, and then obviously getting involved from the age of 18 years old, it's sort of helped, and it's built the understanding of what racing is all about.
Obviously, that was some time ago. When did the actual penny drop that you thought, well, maybe I should be a commentator?
All right, what happened subsequent to having worked in the tote, a position opened up in 1989 in the dissemination department. And that was the same time that I joined Radio Good Hope as a DJ. And I was there for a couple of years, and Neil Andrews was Johan's assistant at the time, and so was Shaheen Shaw. So Neil Andrews got poached to go and start up what today is Teletrack. And 6 months later, he poached Shaheen Shaw to come and join him. So Johan was sitting there, left all to his own devices and having to call week in and week out. And apparently there'd been a flood of oaks coming through the commentary box, but nobody sort of made the grade. Until one day that Mike Wanklin, who now heads up Singapore racing, walked past the dissemination room and stopped dead in his tracks and said, I think my prayers have been answered. Don't you want to come and try to be a commentator? So, well, it's never crossed my mind. I went, and as they say, the rest was history.
Do you enjoy it still? Have you still got that, when you wake up on a Saturday morning and you know you've got to go call at Kenilworth in the dreary, dark days of winter, is there still the zest that you enjoy it that much?
Yes, definitely. I always say the day you don't get the butterflies is the day you give up commentating, because you've got to have that element of surprise built from within, that you never know what to expect and you never know what's coming. Because every race, even though you can run the same race 10 times over, you're going to get 10 different results. And you've got to be ready, and you've got to be able to identify how that race is going to unfold, and of course, make that split-second decisions.
All right, now the obvious question is, you get called up, you're going to be commentating on the JMB Met for the first time.
Which happened this year.
How did that make you feel?
Oh, it was nerves, I promise you. For the very first time in 20 years that I've been calling, I got to call the Met this year.
No worries on the far side began quickly, so too did Hill 54. Royal Zulu Warrior on the rail is also pushing forward, so too Punta Arenas as they link onto the course proper. Then
I tell you, the adrenaline rush, the nerves that set in, the suspense and everything else that just, it's like the world is sitting on your shoulders, because knowing full well everybody's going to be hanging on to every word that you say all the way through. It's actually quite funny that if you look at it into the broader spectrum of things, you are actually painting the picture that everyone else is watching unfold in front of them. And it's your voice that just has to make it that little bit more exciting.
As they leave the back of the track behind, rolling to that turn with 1,200 meters left to travel.
And it's an honor to actually do it. And not only is it an honor to do it, but, you know, people can identify with what you do. You, of course, have your supporters and you have your detractors, more detractors than you do supporters, but I have a way around getting to them.
When Anton started shifting to the outside, it actually looked like horses had gone past him. Now, how does that make you actually maybe change your commentary? Or do you still keep an eye on a horse like Hill 54 who's moved out and actually appeared at one stage maybe to be going out the back door?
Let me put it to you this way. From where we are sitting up in the commentary box, we see things rather differently from what the rest of the public sees. Remember, we are sitting very much way beyond camera angles, way beyond the naked eye, way beyond everything. And the box at Kenilworth is actually strategically placed in that it's sort of elevated out of the grandstand. So you're actually looking down on them. And having the experience of calling all these years, you actually know that the outside angle is always favored at Kenilworth. So as you heard in the commentary, Hill 54 was always in front from start to finish. At no point did I say he got overtaken, because of you being able to see it so much differently to what people see it. In fact, I've invited so many people up to the commentary box already, and most people walk in there and say, geez, this place is antiquated. But the moment you step to the window and you get this panoramic view of Kenilworth in front of you, I mean, everybody is in awe of the view that we've got from up there. And also from standing, I always tell them, come and stand behind me, and you actually get a feel for what I'm seeing. People actually appreciate it so much more to realize what we actually go through while we're sitting up there.
You also travel up country and you do a bit of guest work for some of the big race meetings for television. I know you've done a couple of Durban Julys, and I think you've also done a couple of Summer Cups. That must also be a nice feather in your cap.
I've actually worked on the July broadcast since the year before Vodacom took the sponsorship. So that takes us back to 1999. 2000, I think, is when Vodacom came on board. From the year the trademark won it. I have been very fortunate in that I think I've probably stood the test of time where that is concerned too. And you actually speak to a completely different audience. And this is the one thing that I've learned over the years, that on Teletrack you preach to the converted. But when you get to the SABC, you speak to the guy that's tuning in, wants to see the fashion, wants to see the horses, wants to see who's famous at the races. And I mean, this year was a feather in my cap in that I managed to secure an interview with Jacob Zuma. I mean, you cannot get an interview with the president of this country unless you've arranged it 6 months in advance. And it just happened all by chance within like a space of 2 or 3 minutes. There we go. You can have an interview with the president, you've got 1 minute. And I took it with both hands. But the audience I'm speaking about is, even though you work with people that have got absolutely no idea about racing in terms of the presenters, because look, the SABC bring in the anchor, they've got their roving reporters, and I basically fill in the role from a racing side of things. So I get to speak to the jockeys in the parade ring or the owners, do some interviews beforehand, which gets packaged, which maybe gets used as overlays of the start, etc. Do the post-race interviews after the race is run. So that basically is my role. But I've always got to be subconscious in that I'm speaking to a dual audience. And you always speak to your SABC audience with a view of educating them rather than speaking down to them. You know, on Teletrack we've got our own language that we speak in racing. But there you cannot use that language. You know, you've got to bring it right back to basics. But at the same time, you've got to be mindful that you've got a dual audience that you're actually speaking to. And I think that's done the trick, because 9 out of 10 times people can identify with the role that you play in racing and the fact that you're able to use that role in sort of luring new people and trying to get, I always say, if I can get 1% of the extended audience that joins us on the big days just to have a 10 rand next week, I've done my job.
But now, can we take that further?
Okay.
Surely a man of your stature in the community, and everybody knows you from radio days, surely in terms of horse ownership and forming of syndicates, you must be able to get involved in that role too.
I've actually been approached by a couple of guys, but I've never ventured down that avenue, to be very honest with you. There are many guys that want to get involved, and I'll take it back to when an initiative was born in Cape Town that David Carswell used to run, where they had all these guys' names going to a lucky draw, and I think they all contributed like 200 rand a month or something, where they formed a syndicate. And most of these guys actually miss having that personal involvement with racing. So there's all of them that is still available out there that really wants to get back in again, and there are so many others like that. And I think if we sort of use that same concept and we get the guys involved, we can grow this.
Ravon, in your own right, have you ever owned a share of a horse?
Not at all. So many people have approached me. So many people have said, you got to get involved, you got to get involved. And to be very honest with you, that is the one side of things that's never ever tempted me. And I'll tell you why. Having to sit in a position of calling them. Can you imagine having to call your own horse? I mean, really now. It's enough you can have nerves of steel to call other people's horses. Can you imagine calling your own?
All right, then one more question. In fact, two more questions. Now, all commentators at some part of their career has made a mistake or a faux pas of note. Have you made a real faux pas in terms of a commentary at some point? Well, Nico's going to kill us for this, isn't he? But remember Mr. Chips? Have you done anything of that type of faux pas or mistake that really embarrasses you?
I think the closest I could probably come to something is Lita Futron always chirps me about a horse called Go Baby Go. And I'm going back to, I was probably only starting out calling. And at 2 points in the race, I called Go Baby Go in front and Go Baby Go halfway through. But she had 2 horses in the race and I got the caps mixed up. And that's what happens to the best of times.
Brilliant stuff. Now, in terms of going forward for Vaughan Smith, obviously you still got plenty of years in there. Are there any young and upcoming commentators that you guys can train?
There's 2 potentials at the moment in Cape Town. One of which everyone seems to think that I've got a hand in this, but I don't. But I welcome anybody who would like to come along and try. We do need backup, to be very honest with you. And I'm sure Johan wouldn't mind me saying this, but he keeps telling me, I'm getting too old for this game, I'm going to retire. So I'm expecting that announcement to come at any point in time. And if he does retire,
you'll be busy.
I'm on my own. And you need to have backup. You know, there's such a small pool of commentators in the country. At the moment, we're 18 total that do it on a regular basis. Now, let's face it, Johan's probably reaching retirement age, Alan Skuman's probably reaching retirement age, Craig Peters is probably reaching retirement age soon. So you take 3 out of the equation, you're left with 5, which means that everything is now going to be on the remaining 5 to actually cover the entire country. And it is going to be too much. So if there are any young up-and-coming aspiring commentators who want to try their hand, by all means come. You know, I always say, and I don't want to put anybody off, you've got to have the natural talent to be able to do it. You've got to have a feel for it. You've got to have a flair for it. Nobody can actually teach you to do it. Honestly speaking.
So you've either got it or you don't have it. Is that what you're saying?
That's basically what it boils down to. And I think of the 2 potentials that we've got lurking around, I think one has got what it takes to be able to take it to the level of being a commentator.
Fantastic. Well, we certainly look forward to that moving forward and maybe hearing a new voice in the commentary box from Kenilworth at some point as well. Ravon, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm hoping to get you on the show a little bit more often down here.
I'm always available.
Fantastic stuff. We look forward to that. Great to have Ravon here and just to get a little bit of insight as to what it's like being up there with that bird's eye view.
In the Lanzerac Ready to Run Stakes presented by ZTS, Redway gets given his head and he comes forward and takes up the running. Captain America's on the chase. Back along the inside, Accelero. The riders towards the inside. Redway's got a race on his hands. Has Captain America crawled alongside of him. Captain America, Redway. Captain America, Redway. It's Captain America claiming us. Captain America beats Redway on the line.
Well, it's very close now as well because a lot of horses are getting lined up for the Lanzerac Ready to Run Stakes. Now, we've been having plenty of questions coming through as to what the log looks like. Well, here it is. Let's take a look exactly how they're standing for this year's running of the Lanzerac Ready to Run. Number 1 is Pennington Sands with a merit rating of 102. Then there's Belong to Me, Carla the Rebel at an 87, Harvard Crimson, Sunset Trip, and a couple of others all the way down. We'll leave that on for you to view. Couple of horses coming through from below as well who might well make it into the top 16.
Pomadour bounded away from them.
And very well done to Sean and to Chris. I think they've got a bit of a horse in their hands.
Peregrine on the far inside, but Pomadour, and Pomadour stays on the Bedouin well today.
He is really a nice horse to ride.
Pomadour in the middle's picked it up in the closing stages, and Pomadour has raced away and has won it well.
He just stamped himself as a top 3-year-old in the country.
Manji and Pomadour, here comes the line, very close, maybe Manji in a photo.
And I'm excited for Pomadour to get to stud, and I'm excited for him to start producing. It's just a whole new adventure and a whole new start, and believe you me, when Chris and I see them in the ring, we will put our head down.
Gavel House is the leading website for trading horses online. Selling your racehorse, mare or even a share in a yearling is so easy on Gavel House. You can browse our sires directory to match the best mating for your mare, with text description, videos and up-to-date sires reports. Gavelhouse.com is the best way to sell your horse. We reach places others can't, where buyers and sellers deal direct and pay no commission. Go to gavelhouse.com.
Right, thanks once again to Gavel House for providing us 2 slides. Let's start with slide number 1. Horses in training, Silver Image. He's by Silvano. He's out of the mare Saratoga Shadow. He's a 2010 gelding. Price on application. He's a winner and 6 places from the 12 starts. If you are interested, you need to get hold of Derek Brookman in the Western Cape. Silver Image is a winner over 1600 and he's also had the 6 places. He is currently in training with Joey Ramsden. He's a horse which stays well, he's a good size and he's sound, and he looks to be a good staying prospect going forward. His dam Saratoga Shadow is the own sister to Bold Saffron. We also have some breeding stock available from Gavel House, and the next one up is In Vogue. In Vogue is by Modern Day. She's out of the mare Winter Wonder. She's a 2003 mare, and they're looking for 17,500 Rand. She's selling with a Count Dubois filly at foot, and if you are wanting to get involved, you need to contact Murray Crocker. Comments here from the connections. In Vogue was a 4-time winner up to a mile. Her 3-time winning dam is a half-sister to Greater Stakes winner Marligay, and then also from the family of Spooky. Her Count Dubois filly foal has a Group 1 Goldmine 2020 pedigree, and they're ready. We all know that Count Dubois foals have already sold for up to 600,000 Rand. Thank you to Gavel House for being involved with Breeding to Win. Well, that brings to a close our Sunday edition of Breeding to Win. Thanks very much to our guests. Great that Ravon Smith could come out. Very enlightening hearing about his career going forward and how he started off in the game as well. And plenty of action in regards to Cuda. Their business certainly is growing, and we look forward to the Cuda Matcham Stakes, also featuring the Landsrack Diner Stakes, set to be a fantastic day out. That's on the 4th of October. Meanwhile, closer up, if you're looking to do something midweek, we've got the National Braai Day out at Durbanville. That's on Wednesday the 24th, and a lot of people will be looking forward to going racing out at Durbanville. The fires will be lit. There are braai packs available, and we certainly hope that if you're in the Western Cape, you take a trip out to Durbanville. There'll be wine tasting on offer as well, I'm sure. And we look forward to you joining us at Durbanville, the country track, on the 24th of October. From the Breeding to Win team, we certainly hope you enjoyed catching up with the guests that we had this evening, and we look forward to being with you back on the show Sunday next week. Good night.